This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to do a video covering another symbol that has deep-rooted meaning to the occult. People wonder why I cover these things. I have a whole playlist on symbols. It's one of the easiest ways to wake people up, in my opinion, is learning the symbols and then seeing for yourself. I've had many people in my life who have tried to wake up over the years. I found one of the easiest ways was pointing out these symbols beforehand, telling these people to look for these symbols, such as the black and white tile, such as the pyramid, such as the all-seeing eye, such as the spiral, such as the phoenix rising. There's so many symbols that we constantly see through repetition. We see company logos who have the same logos as somebody else. How many logos for businesses use the pyramid or use the all-seeing eye? You think maybe somebody in the marketing team would say, hey, you know what? I think somebody else has already used the eyeball. We're not, this isn't a company of optometrists, so maybe we should try to use something else that gears more towards what we do. The reason they use these symbols and these signs is because this is how they communicate with each other. And today I want to talk about a symbol that is just as commonplace as the pyramid, just as commonplace as the all-seeing eye, and that is the spiral. We see this spiral all the time, right? I always call it the hypnosis thingy because that's what I used to say when I was a young kid. I'd always see that and I'd say, why is that always there? That hypnotizer, you're getting very sleepy. This symbol is deep rooted in witchcraft, Satanism, and the occult. And like many of these signs that they have and symbols that they use, it means a spiritual rebirth. That really, in essence, is what this is all about. To them, it's about a spiritual rebirth and the transformation. We hear transformation used all the time by these elitists. The rebirth is about the spiritual rebirth and the acceptance of the Antichrist. These people believe, if you've watched my videos in regards to these symbols, they believe that they will never die, that they will be infinite, and they will constantly have a rebirth. Even when they die, they believe the rebirth will still be occurring, and they will constantly and always be in control here on earth. That is what the symbol means to them, but this symbol has many different meanings to it. A spiral is one of the ancient goddess symbols as a sign of life as well. It is also one of the primary Wicca symbols. A spiral is created by a circle moving forward. As the wheel turns, you come around again, but not to the same point as before. You arrive at the same place, but on a new level. A spiral line uncoiling is the movement of creation to them. Now, I'm telling you this so that you know what the enemy does, because the enemy can be seen and spotted from miles away if you know their codes and their symbols. Now, will you find salvation through knowing this? Absolutely not. Salvation can only be found, as I say in every video, through Jesus Christ, or I try to say in every video. But if you follow the channel, you know my beliefs in Jesus Christ, my faith in Jesus Christ. Salvation can only be obtained through him. But I believe firmly in understanding the enemy, knowing the enemy, and seeing it in plain sight. Because these people are advertising who they are right in front of our faces. The spiral, which represents death and the rebirth as a movement into the disappearing point of formlessness and out of it again to a new world of form. Now, obviously, if you follow this channel and the stuff with Pizzagate, we all saw that this symbol, a similar symbol like this, is used by the FBI in finding and detecting pedophiles. It is a symbol that businesses will use to let other pedophiles know that it is a front for pedophilia. In this case, the spiral meaning is for little boy lover. That is what it means. And we saw it all throughout a lot of the stuff with Comet Ping Pong and the bands that were performing there. Just very sick and disturbing stuff. We see the symbol, of course, used by the occult in the television show True Detective, which I covered. You see the symbol there as well on the victim's back, on the actual killer, this occultic symbol. The symbol is used throughout witchcraft. It has been found carved in Neolithic rock formations all over the world. You'll see this symbol around if you actually look for it. You see, when I watch TV, if I put it on, obviously a lot of the times I'm looking for stuff to do videos on, but I constantly am seeing this stuff. That's all I'm seeing when I'm watching. I'm not in an alpha state. I'm not going through it and enjoying it. I'm seeing the black and white, the pyramid, the stuff that we all talk about and know is there. The spiral is always there. It is more commonplace than even the pyramid is. And I'm not kidding. If you start looking for it, you'll see it. When musicians perform, right? We just saw Katy Perry perform at a live performance. Behind her, you always will see this. And some people go, oh, hypnosis. Yes, but it's also meaning for them to communicate because they are witches, and these symbols are to let others know that this is a gigantic occult-like ritual that they're performing when they perform at these award shows. Now you can see a lot of businesses use this logo as their logo, the spiral. And again, remember, think of it from the standpoint of you're starting a business. Okay, just think that you're starting your own business. Would the first thing you think of is a spiral or a pyramid? Wouldn't you say, well, a lot of companies have logos like that. This logo doesn't specifically show what we're all about, so why would we use it? Well, all these major corporations use the same repetitive logos. The Phoenix Rising, the spiral, the all-seeing eye, the pyramid. Look how many companies have this spiral shape as their logo. We see it with Dreamcast, Sega's Dreamcast. We see it with Weststart Media. We see it even with Google, in a sense, with their logo. It's all over. The spiral is all over. It is extremely common. Spiral edge, spiral key, spiral flame. Okay, it's not because they love doodling. It's not because they go, hey, we're an oil company. We're going to kind of come up with a logo for our oil company here. What do you think about just scribbling a little bit of that spiral zigzag stuff that you see on those crazy tie-dye shirts? Oh, it's a wonderful idea. People will see it. They'll know that we're an oil company, huh? Obviously, when you start thinking and using common sense, none of this stuff makes sense. But people don't ask these questions. They just go through the motions, right? Why are these symbols used when they have nothing to do with what the company's about? The spiral, again, is about the rebirth. And all of these symbols that they use, for the most part, always go back, as we know, Illuminati, meaning the illuminated ones, the enlightened ones. But it also talks about a spiritual rebirth, and that is the rebirth into accepting the Antichrist. That is what this One Love movement is about. That is what this New World Order is about. It is about a rebirth, and they believe that they are constant in the universe, that they're never going anywhere, that we're never going to be able to stop them here on earth. They believe they can defeat God. That's how confident and sick in the head and twisted these people are. But they believe this stuff. But remember now, why it's important to see these signs and symbols, because it's easy to help wake people up when they start looking for these things. They start going, all right, look, if you don't believe in this stuff, why are they constantly using this? And somebody will go, I don't know, I never noticed. And you say to them, all right, next time you watch a music video, every time going forward, look for a couple of these things and tell me if you see it. Then they're watching it, in a state of conscious thinking. And it's not just music videos. Corporations, when you drive through your town, you'll see this spiral all over the place. We saw it at the place right next to Comet Ping Pong. Little Red Fox had it right on top of the building. Why do you think that is? This is them communicating through signs and symbols. The old saying, right? Signs and symbols rule the world. Confucius said it. There's a truth to that. Because these Masons, these Satanists operate this way. They operate on a different wavelength because nobody else knows that this is going on. None of us are trained in school to think like this. We're just told, hey, today we're going to study about cloud formations and rocks. Oh, okay. And you learn that. Meanwhile, nobody is ever told, hey, look for signs, look for symbols, because they want you when you're watching TV to be in an alpha state. They want you to be asleep because they can program you that way. That's how all this stuff gets stored in your mind. You're watching TV, you're watching the news, you're not even paying attention to it, but your brain is processing what it's hearing. And then you regurgitate it the next day at work. You don't even realize it. You go stand next to the water cooler. Hey, you hear about Hillary Clinton? Oh, yeah. Whoa. Well, what about those emails? Oh, I think it's right? Regurgitated conversations, right? Just like they live, the walking zombies. That's what's going on because people are trained not to look for signs and symbols. If people were, then they would see that the enemy communicates almost in its own language right in front of us with hand symbols, right? The 666, the pyramid with the hand, all of that stuff. It is them communicating. The all-seeing eye on the magazine covers thousands of times over, right? Not doing anything original here. They just keep doing it because they know people won't wake up to it. So the spiral, again, is something you always see. You'll see it in commercials all the time. You'll see it with them saying hypnosis with it. You're getting sleepy. You'll see it behind musicians during concerts. You'll see it on company logos. You'll see it on rock formations. You'll see it in tunnels places, right? You can drive around towns and you'll just see it on a wall. And what do you think? The guy just had a spray paint bottle and he's like, hang on 1 second. Let me go over to this, underneath this tunnel here. I'm going to make one of those spiral things, like on the tie-dye shirt kind of thing. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Hey, you can get 6 to 10 years for spray. Oh, who cares? It's worth it. It's a spiral. Why do you think that stuff is there? Why do you think we see these signs and these symbols everywhere? Because they're controlling it and people aren't thinking about that stuff. They continue to go and walk through life asleep. So look for signs and symbols. It is an easy way to start waking people up to what is going on in this world. To me, I feel it's the easiest way. You start seeing it, you start telling people and pointing it out to them, and then more people go, yeah, this can't be, there's something to this. Why am I constantly seeing this crap? What, are people just obsessed with pyramids and eyeballs? Everybody wants to be an eye doctor? Of course not. So knowing this stuff, I believe, is truly important in knowing the enemy and be able to see where he is, where they're operating, because they do place these symbols on their businesses, on their buildings, all right? So you know where they are at all times. You know they're lurking because they're not hiding it from anyone. It's there in plain sight. The problem is that people are hiding it from themselves because they don't want to hear this stuff. They don't want to listen to this stuff. They want to live in a bubble and think everything's okay. None of this could be going on. They want to be slaves to a system and just do the 9 to 5. This stuff gives them anxiety, or they don't have spines to talk about it or to address it or to go after it. I believe it's important to know this stuff. But again, salvation can be obtained only through Jesus Christ. Not knowing this stuff, but through Jesus Christ. Knowing this stuff helps you know the enemy. It helps you awaken others as well as yourself to what's going on around you in this world. So you can protect yourself, protect your family, and help other people find Jesus Christ. Because when people wake up and see what's going on, it makes them realize that prophecy is coming true, that the Bible is real. And then they repent of their ways and they find salvation through Jesus Christ. That's what it does, knowing this stuff. I thank you all for listening to today's show. This is just the spiral, folks. It's another ridiculous symbol that goes back to Satanism and witchcraft, all about the rebirth and the transformation for these people. It makes me absolutely sick. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.